Hey everyone. So, ever look around your room and see just stuff? You know, a lamp, a speaker, a coffee mug. Well, what if all that stuff could talk? Not to you, but to each other, to make your life easier. That's the basic idea behind the Internet of Things, or IoT. And trust me, it's quietly changing just about everything. I mean, really think about it for a second. What if your alarm clock didn't just buzz, but it also told your coffee maker to start brewing? And what if the traffic lights on your way to work could see a traffic jam forming and reroute you automatically? This isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. This is the world the IoT is building right now. And to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, let's go back to 2011. That was the year we hit a really wild milestone. For the first time ever, the number of devices connected to the internet, a whopping 9 billion of them, was bigger than the number of people on the entire planet. That was the moment we officially became a planet of things. But that was just the beginning. The predictions from a 2013 paper were that by 2020, that number would explode to 24 billion. Just let that sink in. That's more than 3 connected devices for every single person on Earth. So yeah, this is a big deal, and we really need to understand what's going on under the hood. Okay, so what is the Internet of Things, really? Where did this idea come from? To get it, we've got to look at how it fits into the bigger story of the Internet itself. Right, so you can think of the IoT as the next natural step for the web. First, we had Web 1.0, which was basically a big digital library of static pages. You could read stuff, but that was about it. Then came Web 2.0, the social web we all know and use. Facebook, YouTube, all that. It's interactive, but now we're building Web 3.0, where the internet isn't just on a screen anymore. It's disappearing into the background, into your environment. It's becoming, well, ubiquitous. And this definition from the paper really gets to the heart of it. It all boils down to 2 keywords: sensing and actuating. So a sensor senses the world, your thermostat senses the room's temperature. An actuator then acts on that information. It tells your air conditioner to kick on. Simple, right? But what connects them? What's the brains of the operation? That's the cloud. It's like the digital nervous system for this whole thing. So, how does this all actually get built? I know it sounds super complicated, but it turns out any IoT system really only has 3 main parts. Let's break them down. It's actually pretty straightforward when you think about it this way. First, you have the hardware. These are the actual things out there in the world, the sensors and gadgets. Then there's the middleware. That's the brain. It usually lives in the cloud, and its job is to collect all the data and make sense of it. And finally, you got the presentation layer, the face. That's the app on your phone that lets you see what's going on and control everything. So just remember, things, brain, and face. Okay, let's zoom in a little on the things themselves. There are 2 pieces of tech that are super important here. First, RFID. You can think of these as electronic barcodes on steroids. They're great for things like automatically tracking inventory in a warehouse. Then you have wireless sensor networks. These are tiny little computers that can sense stuff like moisture in a farm field or vibrations on a bridge, and then wirelessly phone home with that data. All right, enough with the theory. Where is this stuff actually making a difference today? Let's look at some real-world examples, because this is where it gets really cool. Let's start right at home with what some call the aware home. And this isn't just about turning your lights on with your voice. Think about healthcare. Wearable sensors can track vital signs and maybe even alert a doctor before a problem gets serious. It can help older folks live independently and safely in their own homes. And yeah, of course, your smart thermostat can learn your schedule and save you a ton on your energy bill. Now let's head to work. In the business world, IoT is creating these smart communities. We're talking about office buildings that automatically adjust the lights and temperature based on who's actually there, or picture a factory where the machines themselves can predict when they're going to break down and literally order their own replacement parts. It's happening. Okay, now let's scale up, way up. Think about a whole city. Utility companies are using IoT to build what's called the smart grid. Smart electricity meters help them manage power demand in real time, which helps prevent blackouts. And get this, sensors in the water mains can detect a tiny, tiny leak deep underground, saving millions of gallons of water. That's a huge deal. And the IoT is always on the move, literally. In transportation, you have connected vehicles and traffic signals all talking to each other to ease congestion and make our commute safer. And for a company shipping products, IoT means they can track a package with incredible precision, not just from city to city, but all the way down to which shelf it's on in a massive warehouse. And when you put all of these pieces together, you get the big vision, the smart city. It's not just one thing. It's this whole web of connected systems for citizens, for transport, for city services, all working together, sharing data to make the city a better, safer, and more efficient place to live. But wait a second. How on earth do you manage all that? Billions of devices, all generating data 24/7. How do you process that absolute tidal wave of information? Well, the answer, and the real engine behind the entire IoT, is the cloud. This quote from the paper we're looking at absolutely nails it. The cloud is that virtual infrastructure. It's the invisible glue holding this whole thing together. It connects the sensors, it stores the data, it runs the analysis, and it delivers the results right back to the app on your phone. It's the command center. So why is the cloud such a perfect match for IoT? Well, for one, storage. You need a place to put all that data, and the cloud is basically a bottomless hard drive. Second, you need serious computing power to analyze it all, and the cloud gives you that on demand. And finally, it's a platform. It lets developers all over the world build new apps and services on top of all this data, often with a simple pay-as-you-go model. It's a total game changer. But it's not all perfect. Of course not. This amazing connected future comes with some really, really big challenges, and we absolutely have to face them head on. First up, the big one, security. Think about it. Every single connected device, from your smart toaster to the city's power grid, is another potential door for a hacker. We're talking about securing billions and billions of new doors. It's a massive, monumental task. And right alongside security, you have privacy. If your home knows exactly when you come and go and your smartwatch knows your resting heart rate, who owns that data? Who gets to see it? How do we stop it from being misused? The paper even brings up this fascinating idea of digital forgetting, the need for a way to let our data fade away, just like memories do in the real world. And finally, there's a really practical problem: power. You just can't go around changing the batteries in billions of tiny sensors scattered all over a city or a farm. It's impossible. So the future of IoT relies on developing incredibly low-power devices and new ways for them to harness their own energy from things like light, heat, or even tiny vibrations. So that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? We know we have the technology to build a smart, connected world. That part's not in doubt. The real question is, can we build one that is also safe, private, and sustainable for the long haul? That's the challenge that's going to define the next chapter of the Internet of Things.